Here's a little island in the middle of a park, and this park is the Herbert Park in Dublin near Bowles Bridge. Now what's interesting about this little island is if you look inside it, and it's autumn at this time of when you see it, but if you look into the island you see the usual ducks like the mallard. We also see some strange little birds perched on the ramp, which birds use to get onto the island. But what are these strange birds? They're very drab. They were actually they were born and raised on the island, and I saw them a few weeks earlier, actually a few months earlier, in August. And this is them in August during the summer, and it was a very good summer. And these little birds are in fact moorhen, and there were 4 of them, and they're little tiny furry chicks, all black, and they have a sort of a red beak. When they get older as fully grown moorhen, they have red beaks. They have enormous feet because they're kind of a lily trotter type of a bird that actually walks on water vegetation. And you see they need wide feet so they don't sink into the ground or sink into the marshy ground or the water. They can actually keep their balance on the weeds. And you can see there are 4 of them, and they're walking along the edge of the island, and they're having a look down the water. Where's our mother gone, or our father? Are they bringing us food? See, at this stage they have to live on land. Now there are fish in this lake. It's not a man-made lake exactly. It's concreted, but it was in fact a natural lake before that, and it's right beside the River Dodder. And the Dodder provides the water that fills the lake. But there are some dangers. There are herring gulls, herons, and of course there are some unusual ones now, such as the red-eared terrapins, the red-eared sliders, which have been introduced. They can't breed, but they were let go into the Dodder, and so I've seen them in the lake as well, and they would eat a small bird. Now here's the adult moorhen walking along with the chicks in the undergrowth, and it's like a jungle on an island, but people can't get onto it, and unless they wade, and dogs won't go onto it. Although I suppose a golden retriever could jump in and attempt to swim for it, but they never do. And there's only one ramp for them to get onto the island and off, and the birds just use that. And it's a great place for them to nest. You can see here on the pathway there's black-headed gulls with that's the winter plumage. A few weeks later you can actually, I came by and I was surprised to see that the little chicks had taken to the water. There were 2 of them with their mother. I wondered at this stage if the other 2 had been predated, but I was happy later on to find out that wasn't the case, that the 2 were just on the island. I think one parent had 2 of them and another parent had the other 2, and they're learning here how to forage. And you'll notice that the parent has a very bright red bill and a yellow tip on it, and the chicks kind of have it as well. It seems to have some communication importance, because if you notice, when they were the older birds standing on the ramp, they didn't have that bright colour on their bill that the chicks didn't anymore. And watch this little chick here swimming over to its mother or its father, and watch, it taps the yellow on the end of the bill. And that has some sort of significance of communication, asking for food, and it duly gets the food. Now the interesting thing about these birds is that they feed on they feed in a different way. They wouldn't be like gulls. They can't eat bread, and they don't come over when bread has been given out. People come to the park and they will give little, breadcrumbs and things like that, or special food for birds. But these birds don't actually come along with the gulls and the pigeons. And here you can see this one totally able to swim now. Those giant feet, of course, are like a huge horse, and it knows what it's doing. It's able to find, it's eating plankton, I think, at this stage, and algae. But you can see the bills they have are actually the bills of insectivores. They're more of a hunter's bill, whereas ducks have sort of wide platform bills because they eat vegetation. These birds catch small insects.